Well, I am delighted to bring you good news for a change. The Court of Appeal in Nova Scotia has upheld a lower court ruling in favor of Trinity Western University. You know what I'm talking about. It's a Christian-themed university in British Columbia, happily and professionally teaching students for more than 50 years in a Christian environment. If you want to go to a party school, a drinking school, a school for Tinder hookups, there are plenty to choose from. But Trinity Western is one that asks people to live by a Christian code of conduct that they put on themselves. There are gay students there, of course, but they just choose to live a Christian lifestyle. Well, 3 law societies in Canada would not stand for that. British Columbia, Nova Scotia, and Ontario banned in advance any graduate from this school before the school even graduated them. Well, our friend John Carpe joined Trinity Western University in court as an intervener, and he joins us today to celebrate the 5-0 ruling by the Nova Scotia Supreme Court of Appeal. Congratulations, John. There were a lot of lawyers in that room. Your team at the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms was one of them. Congratulations and thank you.
Well, it's nice to have a good outcome. The case is extremely important, and so now we've got Ontario against us, Nova Scotia in favor of us, and we're just waiting on one more decision, Court of Appeal of British Columbia.
That's right. Those 3 jurisdictions, Trinity Western appealed, and you were the intervener, and your team, in fact, in 1 week, I recall, you were in 2 different provinces fighting back here. It really bothers me that benchers of the Law Society, those are the most senior lawyers in each province, would brazenly rule against Trinity Western on explicitly discriminatory grounds. They're not even pretending this was anything other than banning Christians who followed a Christian lifestyle. The fact that this was a 5-0 ruling, though, by the Court of Appeal, I found that very encouraging. What do you take from that, John? Like, this was no 4-1 or 3-2 split. All 5 Court of Appeal judges said, we're with Trinity Western. That's quite something.
You know, all you need is 3 out of 5 for a majority, or 5 out of 9 for a majority on the Supreme Court. But having said that, a unanimous decision always is more powerful. It carries more weight than a split decision. So, you know, if we're going to win, this is the best way to win, 5-0.
Yeah. I want to quote 2 passages from the ruling. I'm not going to delve into it because it's a lot of legalese, but let me quote 2 parts. This first is from what's called the head note, or the summary of the case. It says, the Court of Appeal dismissed the Law Society's appeal. The Legal Profession Act did not authorize counsel, that is, the Law Society's counsel, to enact a regulation that counsel could issue rulings whether someone in British Columbia unlawfully violated the Human Rights Act or the Charter. Let me translate into legalese. In other words, the Court of Appeal said that the benchers, the Council of Benchers, these senior lawyers in Nova Scotia, they don't have the power to make decisions about whether or not Trinity Western is breaking the Charter or breaking the law as they claimed. It's none of the Nova Scotia Barristers Society's business. And so they didn't have the power under their statute to make this ban. John, am I correctly understanding that legal passage?
Yep, absolutely. The court is saying you can't just use a vague notion of human rights to do whatever you want to do. The only group that can interpret the Human Rights Act is the Human Rights Commission, and so the Barristers Society in Nova Scotia doesn't have jurisdiction to just say, well, you know, we feel such and such, and certainly not about human rights legislation in another province, namely British Columbia.
Yeah. I want to read one more passage. This is, again, a little bit of technical legalese. This is paragraph 99 of the ruling. I want to put it up there, and I'll do my best to explain it. And John, I'm going to ask you to correct me if I'm wrong. Now, this is the Court of Appeal talking about the lower judge, the judge who first ruled in favor of Trinity Western, who says, the judge's findings and the Law Society's acknowledgments remind us that Trinity Western's law graduate is not Trinity Western's alter ego. The graduate is a vital stakeholder in his or her own right. The Law Society's purpose is to protect the public interest in the practice of law. So let me see if I can translate this into English. And John, you correct me again if I'm wrong. These are the 5 Court of Appeal judges saying, look, you cannot bully any graduate from Trinity Western in the future. You can't take it out on individual people, the fact that you don't like Trinity Western University. You can't ban Miss Jones or Mr. Smith because you hate the school they went to. They have their own rights. I thought that was an interesting observation. Am I interpreting that paragraph correctly?
Well, Ezra, this is one of the things that's been the case all along is that there's nothing wrong with the school academically, and even the Nova Scotia Barrister Society has not said that Trinity graduates are going to be bad lawyers. This is all an ideological thing against the school. They can't stand the fact that the school has a different perception, different teaching, different belief about sexuality that's unpopular today. And so this has been an ideological attack against the school all along. And your interpretation of that passage is bang on, that these graduates are qualified and they have a right to practice law.
Yeah, and the fact that a bunch of snooty benchers in Halifax want to change the school doesn't mean they can use individual men and women as cannon fodder. Hey, John, remember a few weeks ago when we had you on and we said we were going to help chip in to cover your fees? Because you've got lawyers, and I know they're on salary, and you're not like a commercial law firm that's billing $500 an hour. I bet you, if you were in private practice, could bill $500 an hour, but you've chosen a different path in life. You've chosen to work pro bono for causes you deeply believe in, but it still costs money. You still got to pay the staff. You still got to pay, even just travel and photocopying. Well, we asked our viewers to chip in to help cover it. And I am pleased. I want to hold up the check now. I'm going to pop it in the mail to you today, but I want to show you, John, with your own eyes, $5,100 today. Excellent. From viewers of this show. That's quite something. $5,100 we're going to send you, John, to cover your expenses. And if, and I know you're in 3 provinces, and I know we haven't even heard the last of it in British Columbia. I know you're also fighting other fights, but this is our small way of saying, John, we love you. We love that you're fighting these good fights. We're celebrating the victory today. We hope you have another win in BC. And I know this is something you deeply believe in. Last word to you, John.
Thanks, Ezra, and thanks to the viewers for the support. And, we are a group that relies entirely on generosity from Canadians who support the Free Society. And so every bit helps. And thank you very much for your support. And let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for a good decision coming out of British Columbia.
That's right. That's right. Now, I know this will probably go to the Supreme Court too, but it's nice. It'd be nice if 2 out of the 3 provinces, the courts of appeal, were on side. John, great to talk to you. Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, one of the good guys, and boy, we sure need him. Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.